to what we love. Risk the follow, we have felt it all come crashing down from far above. Stars are rising, countless worlds colliding, only one will take it all. Can we bring to fall the giants? Can we make the final call? We are the ones to ignite the darkened skies, the champions of a world that we defy. A soul ray of the few who rise up high, and we all fight at the last light. Hearing voices from afar, join the madness when the curtain falls. Risk it all, hold nothing back. Seize the day, we must attack. Stars are rising, countless worlds colliding, only one will take it all. Can we bring to fall the giants? Can we make the final call? We are the ones to ignite the darkened skies, the champions of a world that we defy. A soul ray of the few who rise up high, and we all fight at the last light. Can we bring to fall the giants? 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 We are the ones to ignite the darkened skies, the champions of a world that we defy. A soul ray of the few who rise up high, and we all fight at the last light. The night beckons while you dream. A life never lives in peace. As you stand upon the edge, woven by a single thread, NBA? Should we show them how we do it every day? Kali that girl, Kali go girl, Kali gon' stop, Kali gon' skirt, Kali got a job, Kali go to work. 뜨거워 언제나 don't get burned. 넘쳐 흘러물 than a buffet, 죽여주잖아 like a buffet. 누가 감히 on my outfit? 그 문 열지 마, that's a rock day. Don't give any more cause I'm greater than. 필요 없는 시험들 다 뿐이미. But all of my numbers are talking back. 부루마법 message monopoly. 눈종이 돈이나 real money 필요 없대. 너네들이 만든 돈들 go get it, go get it, go get it. 더 미션 눈을 못대 못해 그래 너도 get it cause I got it different. All I'll ever know is life upon the throne. 시작하면 끝을 보는 거야. You want more? No, I got it so deep though. You look like you could use some more. No, I got it, never running low. Yeah, I got more than enough, set it up and away. You know I got it like bum bum, blow your mind. Never giving less, and that's how it'll stay. You know I got it like all day, all the time. When I go, it's for gold, get it cool, but I'm cold. I don't fit in a mold, I'm a rebel. I don't do what you say, making moves, I don't wait while I smile in your face. I got different DNA. What's higher than the top? That's me. Come take a look before falling at my feet. 조용히 몸을 숙여봐. So take a look, 나를 기억해, queen. All I'll ever know is life upon the throne. 시작하면 끝을 보는 거야. You want more? No, I got it so deep though. You look like you could use some more. No, I got it, never running low. Yeah, I got more than enough, set it up and away. You know I got it like bum bum, blow your mind. Never giving less, and that's how it'll stay. You know I got it like all day, all the time. Way out，感觉犹如海浪的味道，不断往前，Oh you never wait down. This is how I do it every day. Wow, wow，这一路上的奇迹都记住了你的每一个瞬间，无比的耀眼。I know you want some more，准备好就一起走，Giving it all more。No, I got it so deep though. You look like you could use some more. No, I got it, never running low. Yeah, I got more than enough, set it up and away. You know I got it like bum bum, blow your mind. Never giving less, and that's how it'll stay. You know I got it like all day, all the time. 내 눈에 비친 창문 눈을 감아
All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry for those technical difficulties. I am super excited to be bringing to you KDL Season 6. My name is Crimson, and today I am joined by... Sorry, I'm so nervous. Joined by Exoria. Exoria, you just make me nervous, my man. We are watching the Pro Draft actually go live right now. And yeah, we're excited to start off the season, but I think I'm very excited to see both of these teams in full action. Exoria, from experiencing both of these teams priorly, known as Always Bot Difference, now breaking into CGE and LDO, what are your kind of thoughts, and how do you see this game going in terms of individual players?
In terms of like individual players, I know let me think. Penelope always stood out as someone who's pretty consistent, especially at mid lane.
Right?
I remember when I played against Penelope, she was always a threat. Let me think, who else? Oh, they said turn me down.
Yeah, I
I
am
said I'm
checking it now.
yeah, okay, good.
Yeah, no
I would
worries.
have to look. Don't worry.
It's
Okay.
that's the beauty of doing this live and first takes. We have no idea how everyone sounds, but I'm liking the draft so far. LDO is a very I think they're a very well-rounded team, and that's not to say CG isn't. The strengths that we saw in the prior, combined team ABD, they pretty much always played through bot, and then they would hope that top just kind of is able to get those isolation 1v1s and just able to snowball, and that worked for a long time. And that's probably why now we have broken up into two separate teams, because of that conflict of play styles. And it's going to be very interesting now, because the ABD top laner, the player that everyone knows, on that team pretty much, the star player, quote unquote, is Rave. And now Rave is going to his natural role of jungle on LDO. And he is known as Aramis, but we will be seeing a potential Poppy or Viego pick. Or, sorry, wrong thing. Those are bans. We potentially could see a Ramus still. No, Ramus is also banned. I don't have my head on straight. This season we are trying out Pro Draft. Pro Draft is the first for the KDL. Naturally, we have used the in-game client. It is going to be Xin Zhao. There you go, finally. J4 still available as well. Very, very exciting so far. Not a lot of sound, though, in the Pro Draft. I'm very, very surprised. Jinx, Braum, bot lane, into the Vex, into the Kai'Sa. I like it. It's very safe. I have not seen Thoma's Lee Sin before. Toma, priorly on a couple different teams, has actually subbed in here and there for various teams in prior seasons, is actually a champion of his own rights in the KDL, and now joining up with CGE, looking to make that another championship under his belt. They did end up going with Talon and Lee Sin. I believe the Lee Sin is accidentally a misclick here. Just waiting on confirmation. Talon is apparently supposed to be Lee, so I'm not quite sure what Lee is supposed to be. Victor actually picked up as well on CGE side. That is going to be the Victor with the first strike. This is somewhat of a new build. Typically, we're so used to Victor going, electrocute and things to that end. I have seen a lot of first strike Ludens, first strike Landry's, but mostly it is going to be first strike Crown. Crown just giving you so much suppression in terms of just mitigating a lot of damage that otherwise would burst you, and especially into the face of Vex, who also is a Crown user of her own right, is going to be very, very good. Sungsta in the top lane for LDO will be picking up that GP. I've never seen GP, at least played by him. He is known for the Fiora, hence the ban coming out. Apparently the Lee Sin, so Talon is Lee, and the Lee is Silas.
Interesting.
If this draft seemed confusing for you, don't worry, it is really confusing for us as well.
And they said that it's not GP.
Yeah, they said apparently it is not GP. We'll have to see ultimately what ends up happening. Again, this is a KDL first for Pro Draft, so apologies on both of our ends here if things just seem a little bit wonky. But that surely will do it here as we go from the Pro Draft into the client. They are just going to continue on with their normal bans. They will, however, be picking an order, so from top all the way down to support. In prior seasons as well, we have had a 3-minute spectator delay. For today's first game of the season, we are not. We will actually be talking about the picks and talking about matchups. Exoria, as someone who has faced Rave in the top lane, do you think the top lane skills will be correlating to jungle, or do you think that there's not really a correlation there, and that his playstyle will not be able to translate that well in terms of that isolation play, looking to capitalize on the top laners of prior seasons out to the rest of the map as jungle?
When it comes to like skill that I think like carries over from top to jungle, I think the only thing top laners tend to be pretty decent at is tracking the jungler, as like that's usually when they go around. I mean, go in and like, they can make plays inside their jungle if they're careful, and like they can call for when they think the jungler is gonna dive. Overall, I think top laners tend to be slightly weaker at Roman than most of the other roles because they don't really have to ever. So maybe Rave has put in enough games to nullify that weakness.
We'll have to see, honestly. It's very funny because the giant meme around Rave and ABD in general, whenever they did pick towards top, was that he always bought Sunfire, even if, the champion didn't call for it. He would always play that tanky playstyle. And now coming into the KDL, so far, at least in terms of scrims, in terms of practices, in terms of, just general games, I hate to say it twice, but in general, we have seen, tankier picks. Hecarim, Vi, Nunu, Amumu, Rammus, his bread and butter. So this is the first for me, at least, looking at the Xin Zhao. I think Xin Zhao into the Lee is very good, both skirmishers. That being said, I think that Lee has a lot of agency in this game, especially seeing how there is no really true frontline of the LDO comp. LDO really is going to need to make sure that they can kind of space out away from the Malphite. Otherwise, there's just huge engage potential, especially if Braum is able to get on top of that and throw in his ultimate into the mix. I'm looking at the CGE comp right now, and that just screams Wombo combo. Lee doesn't really contribute into that Wombo, but he definitely is still a great pick getter here. Unless Vex can fear him, because if he gets feared by Vex when he's going in for an insec or flash kick or whatever else, it's going to be really, really messy. And we will be getting Ku on the signature Thresh. These will be your final picks and bans here of game 1. Today is going to be a best of 1, as are the rest of the matches for our play-ins. Xur, how are you feeling so far about both of these comps?
I definitely feel that, like you said, LDO has a team fight and wombo combo comp, which is very scary and tends to always be like scary in KDL specifically.
Mm-hmm.
But seeing that CG has Silas to counter the Malphite and like a lot of disengage and just like pick potential means that they have like other ways to play around that. As long as they avoid like a full-on 5v5 and instead like focuses more on vision, I think CG actually has a pretty strong chance of winning this game.
Yeah, I mean, just based on draft, right? It's hard to say when you're talking about draft because it's all about how you execute it ultimately. But I'm really liking the side of CG. They have a lot of spaced out damage. They don't have true double AP. Malphite kind of does give that pseudo AP in the form of his giant ult and just passive APness. Passive AP, usefulness. There you go. Don't clip that one. But I swear to God, I was going somewhere with that thought. But the Silas has so much too, because he can just steal the Malphite ult, steal Braum ult, and get things going in his own end as well. Guys, nothing happened. No one heard anything.
So my bad, I got the team names flipped. Yeah. I meant that CGE has really strong wombo and LDO has really good skirmish potential.
So just to clarify, you are going to be taking CGE in this game then as your official prediction?
No. Since
Listen. You have $1,000. You're at a casino in Las Vegas. Okay. Mm-hmm. Someone runs up to you, says, Exoria, I need your expert, opinion here for a KDL match for the K-pop Discord League. I need you to bet the $1,000 that you have in your hand right now to bet on which team is going to win a BO1. These are the comps. These are the bands. These are the players. Who are you betting on? No neutralness. I know you like neutralness. You cannot be neutral. No neutralness.
Knowing how strong Wombo teams are, I'm gonna bet on CGE. Even though I think LDO's team has a lot of potential, I think it's really hard to pilot effectively.
Yeah, and talking about both of these teams is interesting as well. If you want to hear further explanations as behind, players and just general team comps in general, I highly suggest going on Spotify, listening to the Blast Cone. KDL produces the Blast Cone. That is going to be a weekly show. We already have one episode out. That episode was filmed prior to the season start, so you can hear players' thoughts, especially Exoria when he's not being neutral. Oh wait, no, Exoria, you actually didn't do that, did you? I don't think you were on that.
I've never been on the Blast Cone, no.
Oh my God, you might want to be on it this week. Who knows? But definitely. And it's funny because the Blast Cone actually, or at least the episode 1, was actually covering a tier list. And it was taken from various players around the league. And I think the general census was that LDO was, that 8th place team. So the way that KDL works is that top 6 actually will progress forward, and then 7th and 8th do not. So they actually had 8th place in terms of everyone's kind of pseudo power rankings. So if they're able to kind of upset the status quo right now and beat CGE, a team that was, you know, generally within that 2 to 5 spot, that's going to be huge, especially for momentum, because this is a game that I don't think a lot of people have LDO in. Obviously, the draft is kind of looking, you know, a little bit sketchy in terms of just don't get caught out, Kaisa. Don't get caught out, you know, Vex, these squishier members. But we're just going to have to see how it goes. I strongly think that LDO have a chance at winning this game, but that's assuming that CG are just not able to get the agency and ultimately the synergy that they want in this game. We are just loading in now. Yeah, and it is going to be a first strike Victor, Malphite Victor, both with TPs. LDO will match that with TPs of their own. Interesting as well, the meta recently has shift towards Exhaust on the AD with a Longsword 3-pot start. Kaisa, actually going against that status quo, will take that heal. So they do have a little bit more sustainability. I don't really think that sustainability will mean anything, but you know, we're gonna have to wait and see.
In terms of matchup, I'm excited to see how this plays out. I know for a fact that Silas should have a lead in this lane. Granted, there's no jungle interference. Mid is kind of Victor favored currently.
I think Nocturne ulted. What's happening? The client.
Yeah.
What happened to the client? Did Nocturne ult? What happened? Help! Help!
Oh.
Someone turn off the lights.
Definitely the most bizarre bug I've seen.
Yeah, I think Nocturne ulted. Technical difficulties. We will have to unfortunately just kind of get back in here. Not quite sure what that is. That does typically happen now and then. Hashtag preseason. But aside from the Nocturne ult, I definitely think that that they really need to watch out for those Malphite ults. I think the Malphite ult is going to be ultimately what could lose LDO the game. I think if you're Xin Zhao and if you're Vex, I think that your first target should always go towards go towards the Kaisa. Or sorry, go towards the Jinx. I think that if you give Jinx too much in this game, you're just going to deeply regret it. Seems like both teams are actually orienting towards the bottom of the map here, looking for a potential engage.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
I definitely think level 1 is really in favor of... that's actually tough to say. I think they're actually pretty even. I think it's way more worth for CGE just because of first strike, though.
I think Braum just like completely destroys the level 1 dynamic.
Even with the passiveness of Kaisa's 5-part passive?
Well, that's only initial burst. I feel like Braum would just like absolutely slaughter a full-on like mini team fight at level 1.
Doesn't seem like LDO want the smoke. They're doing a 5-point right now. It's okay. Malphite doesn't really lose too much out of this. So I explained earlier that ABD, or at least what was formerly known as ABD, actually broke up, and the players got mismatched. So off that team, Poseidon was formerly the jungle, now going to his natural role of support. Dilly, the former AD. Toma now joining the fray as well. That's that no hands push up Lee Sin jungle right there. New player to KDL is going to be this Malphite, Ninja Claus. He has never played in KDL before. This might be a wake-up game for him. This might not be. We'll have to see. Guardian actually getting procced here as well on that red buff. Won't mean too much. That is about a 45-second, I believe, at base. So, Exoria, I want to ask you because, you know, when you pick Malphite, you can never leave Silas truly open, and that's exactly what we've kind of seen in this comp or in this arrangement right now. Do you think this lane is going to be really, really rough for the Silas early on just because of this Q poke?
I mean, it's definitely like miserable for the first like 3 levels, but I feel like Silas's like Bill eventually just completely destroys the lane dynamic, and Malphite can't really keep up. Any lane that Malphite can't just Q poke and just like auto win means he usually goes even or loses. In general, I think Malphite should be pretty behind here.
feel like the dynamic of Malphite poke into Silas just kind of leans more towards just getting Q poked and forcibly, being forced to use those corrupting pots. Especially when Silas can just W and just heal back everything. His sustain is pretty nuts.
Yeah, especially with W max.
Just gonna check here. Hasn't maxed anything out as he is level 3. Or not max, but working towards the max at least. No 2 points into any ability right now. Zinzao actually prostrating towards mid here. It's a beautiful wave right here in topside just for Malphite to hold. Oh, potential engage there was kind of thwarted out from that minion. The wave is nicely collecting for this Malphite. Zinzao actually going right behind this Victor. This actually might be the first gank of the KDL here. Will it be successful? Oh, no. Rave is here. Rave is gone. He actually wants to go right back in. Well, that's a lot of damage. I don't think it will be enough. Electrocute does get proc. W tag will go out. Rave does not have E for another 3 seconds, so there is no re-engage. And even if he did re-engage, he would be within the tower range. While that was all happening, Toma was able to sneak off and was able to secure that bottom scuttle, so they do have full protection in the bottom side. And I think that's really important right now, especially with the dynamic of Jinx and Braum just perma-pushing. They don't really want to, hold or anything like that. Allow Thresh to walk up. And so a push in this lane is very, very smart, especially since Zinzao can pretty much get you from half a screen away. Oh, W tag will land, unfortunately, though, for Dilly's dismay. Dilly holding on to a lot of sustain. Like I said, typical AD meta right now is the longsword 3-pot start. Dilly still holding on to his original 3-pot. Silas getting so much damage here on the Malphite, who still is holding on to his last corrupting pot here in the lane.
Yeah, and this is where it just becomes unbearable for Malphite. There's not much you can really do. And this is just going to continue to snowball into Silas's favor unless there's intervention.
So it looks like CGE right now is trying to force them to go in here, or LDO at least. LDO actually setting up as well. Lee Sin might actually enter the lane, but I don't think he can with them holding the wave like this. It's just a level 4 Lee Sin, so there is really no danger or anything like that. Zinzao actually will get spotted out here on that middle brush. Oh, tag does go down to Kaisa. W zap will miss. The Q from Lee Sin gonna miss ultimately as well, but the death sentence will connect. It's not gonna do too much. Poseidon just needs to walk away from the Kaisa, and the passive will get dropped here as well. Apologies as well if you are looking at the top. That is not our fault for that top overlay bar for the client missing the towers and things like that. For whatever reason, it is bugged within the preseason. Hopefully, with the new patch coming out in just a couple of days, it will be fixed. But for now, that's what we kind of had to deal with. Ooh, Death Sentence just barely missing out on Jinx as well.
I imagine this is gonna be a pretty low impact game until the first skirmish or dragon fight. They're both kind of really safe teams. Vex can usually just passively farm and not really walk up.
I mean, when you pick Victor, you're picking for scaling. Like Victor is that scale champion, and that's exactly why we've heard comments from we've heard comments from Tanner carried by Exoria about the Victor and about how kind of mediocre it is to play. But you don't pick it for, early aggression, even with the first strike. Sure, you can get a lot of gold on the first strike, and that does give you, I think it's that 10% increased damage. But I think realistically, you're looking to play towards, that 25-minute mark. Toma actually has 5 here, so there is no 6. Oh, nice little ultimate away from Sungsta as well. Q will actually be sidestepped from Sungsta, putting on his juke shoes. While they are doing that, the dragon, and the first dragon at the KDL Season 6 will be taken here from LDO, and that is going to be Ocean. Mountain Dragon in just about 5 minutes. Could be looking at 3 dragons here, potentially. Infernal, Chemtech, or the Hextech. There you go, I was forgetting it. Gosh darn it, why don't they just call it Static Shiv? Oh, Chemtech would be horrible in this game. It'd be so annoying to deal with Silas. They actually might go for a dive here. Toma is 6 here. Silas does have the flash up.
I think Silas is fine here.
Okay, I think he's dead here, actually.
Oh, no.
Okay, yeah. That is the first kill of KDL, and it will go down to Toma. Toma actually getting that Iron Spike whip on his first back as well. They're really going to force Silas here to TP. And this is very good, actually, because now Malphite will have the TP available in case there is a skirmish towards bot side. There's not much to fight for in terms of bot because you already have taken out that dragon. Oh, one more hit on the tower. Oh, Malphite actually has to stay there. No, he's not dead. Because that second E missed, he just misses out on all that damage. Oh. Poseidon might get caught out here from Xin. The Q tag does miss. Shield does go out. Faithful is here for a potential engage. Flash coming out from Braum as well. This Kai'Sa is 5. There is no Predator Instinct for her. Oh, this is so awkward. Oh my god, I feel bad for Rave. Oh, he should have taken the Blast Cone over.
Even though they got the first blood on Silas, I don't think it's really going to do much in lane. I feel like that lane is still so heavily one-sided. But, I mean, whatever you can get, I guess.
I mean, at this point, they're just looking for scraps here. And speaking about scraps, who actually might be dead? He does have the flash, so he could go over here. Jinx is just free hitting, is able to get the chompers down as well. Lantern over the wall. He actually flashed in for the flay. I'm not quite sure what that was. Predator Instinct is still available for the Kai'Sa as well. Heal does go out. Predator Instinct now being used. Dilly is going to get thrown away from the Xin Zhao. Faithful still looking in. The Q tag from this Braum will ultimately get it. Ninja Class is here. He ultimates in after a nice little TP. Does get double buffs for his little wander there. I'm not quite sure what LDO thought was happening. They opened up the script, but the script read CGE all the way. Exoria, what was that?
It might have doomed their future. Like, LDO kind of has to get ahead earlier mid because Victor and Jinx are just going to be such a powerhouse mid and late.
I'm not quite sure what that re-engage is ultimately from Who. He flashed in for the flay, throws the lantern over rather than just flashing out. I think it was doomed from the start because he was completely isolated. Like you said in that, lead in for this match. Look at the Braum. The Braum damage and the Braum passiveness is going to be the key factor, and especially here in the early game where he's tagging, he's bagging, and ultimately the Thresh is sagging. It's looking really, really dire because he doesn't want to use the flash. He forces the flash towards them, looking for a potential, crazy outplay. It just doesn't come because you still have the Braum, you still have the Jinx who is free hitting. Jinx at that point also is proccing lethal. I'm not quite sure. And they threw the lantern over as well, and I can imagine he was wondering where Rave was.
If they can't immediately burst the Kai'Sa, the Jinx or the Braum, then it's just kind of doomed to go for an extended trade like that.
I mean, it's not entirely over, I suppose, because the Jinx actually got 0 kills there. She has 3 KP, but unfortunately the Braum is just smurfing out of his mind in terms of the lane here. I'm surprised no boots, actually. Oh, just walks in there. Takes the W full on. No AP Kai'Sa either. Although
Probably
AP
for the best. They don't have a lot of DPS.
AP Kai'Sa would be really dire here just because they do have 2 solo laners with AP. I can imagine Malphite just giggling to himself right now, thinking of the potential he has for stacking those AP negation items. So are you surprised about the passiveness of the mid lane?
No, I was expecting it to go this way because this lane favors Victor and they just both like wave clear and Victor scales into mid and late. There's not much Vex can do without like a lot of jungle intervention, but Penelope is a pretty laner.
This might be a kill. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Oh, flash coming out the W as well. Malphite actually ulting Sansa. No way, is he dead? Oh my god, he actually killed him! Oh my god, Toma missing the first Q there. There is no re-engage. Dragon Kick going out, safeguard away into Penelope's arms. The Vex actually taking that ultimate too. The Q is going to be thrown out on top of Toma. Toma Light will go down. There was only Toma Darkness. Now it is going to be Victor throwing out his ult as well. Jinx Rocket will go out. There surely will be a kill going traded over. That is, oh my god, a 1-for-1 there. Toma actually had flash as well. Oh no. Okay, things don't really seem like, it's over at all either. But Rave is alive. Toma now going to be on respawn as well. Mountain has spawned. Oh, who is fishing? He's got a muscular man. Don't say it, Xuri. I know what you were thinking.
I was not.
Yeah, sure. I can hear you. All right. It is going to be
This should be a
Dragon.
free dragon for CGE.
Yeah, it is going to be Dragon now started for CGE. I don't really think that there is a lot of promise of a steal here, especially since LDO just did not have the setup. Typically, you want to be setting up 30 to 40 seconds earlier. And there is nothing there because despite Toma dying, despite there being a jungle, one jungler on the map, because of the pressure exerted towards mid lane, means that Thresh cannot move, otherwise the wave is just going to get collapsed on, and they potentially risk out on a lot of tower damage. E2 actually going to be catching a minion there.
I find this tier to be really interesting on Malphite, considering how one-sided this matchup's supposed to be. Because setting yourself behind 400 gold, like in an already difficult matchup, is like a very risky play. But so far, it's been working out for Malphite.
Yeah, he actually sold the Corrupting Pot as well, so he just ends up going for a tier instead, and that eventually will be going out into the Fimbo Winter nonetheless. I actually really like the tier start on Malphite, just because, again, you're just spamming the Q. At this point, you do a lot of damage. You are a Q bot. E2 actually will connect on top of Malphite. I believe that is an 8-stack Silas, so there is really no one-shot potential just yet. Oh, actually very interesting. Vex actually opted in for a Ludens. What are your thoughts?
That's definitely like a risky.
Right.
I don't know. Like I find that to be a bit bizarre. I guess it's really prioritizing wave clear.
Well, wave clear, throwing out ability, spamming to her heart's content. I'm very interested in it as well because, I mean, what was the one unifying topic that we both agreed on in pregame? The Wombo combo, right?
Wombo, yeah.
Like, when you think about Vex, that is the squishy. When you think about Kai'Sa, that is the squishy. Kai'Sa does have a build that, goes into the Shattered Crown. Oh my god, I thought he was going to hit that scuttle for a second. But again, that is not an AP Kai'Sa at all. Silas actually, E2 will connect. That is a fully stacked Silas. Their first tower of the game will go down to Dilly. So CG in control of this game so far. 5k gold up. But yeah, I mean, Vex really needs that damage negation. And I think that not going Crown, she's definitely going to feel that if this game does go long. Yeah, I mean, I understand the logic behind the Ludens, but Malphite's fed. They still have a Victor. They still have a Jinx who will be free hitting you. It just doesn't really make a lot of sense not to go, the AP shield bow, essentially.
It is definitely an ambitious purchase, but I guess he feels it's necessary here. I definitely see, like, I don't know about Leandri's because, like, Vex with Leandri's isn't very, like, effective at I don't know. I think she would rather prioritize burst or just survivability with Crown.
The logic with Leandri's is that it's just that tank killer, right? They have 3 tanks. They have Toma, who is going to be kind of that pseudo tank more or less, but Malphite and Braum. E2 actually going to be connected right on top of Malphite, forcing him to ult underneath his own tower. But this game, I do believe Chad is right. I think it definitely is kind of that Leandri's angle if you don't want to go for Crown. I definitely think that this is a Crown game, though. That sentence will connect. Instant flay, and the flash does come out as well. Dilly is free hitting over the side there. Vex ult will go out. It will connect on top of Poseidon, who unfortunately is not able to stop the Vex in time. Faithful now. Predator Instinct going to be used there. Remember, Malphite does not have ult, but it's not needed. That is going to be a double for this Victor. Rave still inside the jungle as well. Gale Force out. Rave actually flashing forward, trying to kill Dilly. It won't be Dilly who kills him, but it will be Princess Penelope to his rescue. And Herald is up. So Herald is up for another 3 minutes. They're going to divert 2 members here in the mid lane while having everyone else towards the top side for that Herald. Might actually be looking at a tier 2 possibly. Oh, Penelope actually diving this right now. I definitely think that Vex is dead here. No, Vex actually with the flash will immediately flash that zap. 9-1 so far. Did you realistically seeing the game go this way this early? Did you see it going kind of differently?
Well, I definitely wasn't expecting Sunks to struggle as much as he has been, but I don't really blame him considering how much attention Toma has given to his lane. This like little skirmish is especially bad for LDO because they were really prepping for that Rift Herald as they were establishing a lot of vision up there. So now they're even further behind. It's not looking very good, but I definitely was expecting CGE to have the stronger laners.
Who
in
just
general.
randomly donated to the Braum. Death Sentence will connect on top of the Braum, who has no flash. He's looking to go over the wall right now to Tomo with that W. He surely will get it here. Jumper's now going to be thrown out as well. 4 members of CGE now really wanting to get this Chemtech. Malphite does have the ult. They're getting zoned away from the W for Victor. TP coming in a little too late. Reeve has to pull the trigger, and he needs to do it right now. They are going to be going. Reeve is trying to get inside the pit here. He uses the ultimate. Lee Sin will be the first one to secure the kill. Vex ult is going to go out as well. It is going to be Sungsta who's kicked into everyone there. Sungsta able to trade it off. Vex and Sungsta still alive here. Sungsta trying his best to do anything that he can. It will be another triple going over to Penelope, but it will be the Penta stolen, the double going over to Toma. Every single fight that CG sees, CG gets into, they end up on top here. And I don't really think that there's a lot you can do at this point inside the game if you are LDO. It's looking like it pretty much is over.
This is a really clean game from CGE. Now they probably get to mid towers and then back off. They just won't. They just barely won't get the mid tower there, but they should still be fine. Like they everything's in the bag for CGE. They have the late game skeleton. They're like
Victor's
always
online.
are in a good position. Yeah.
Victor's on. The only one who, I guess theoretically, isn't online is the Jinx. The Jinx is like the true support of this game. But
LDO's gonna have to make really ambitious plays to come back here.
Yeah. I think that's actually a Nashers for Kaisa. Kaisa actually rushed Manamune. Instead of going Kraken, she rushed Manamune first, or even Gale Force. That 15.6 AD. Oh, there you go. Malphite ult now going to be thrown out. That's what. Oh my god, Dilly! Oh my god, Dilly! Oh! Oh my god! Dilly with the Super Mega Death Rocket predicting potentially the flash of this Silex?
And now they get a free Baron here.
Rave has to pull out a miracle here. They have Poseidon potentially to stop this with his own ultimate. He could proxy that E. Rave is fully on vision here. He needs to tag and he needs to do it right now. They actually will just go down there. Oh, and it will be Toma who is able to secure it. Yeah, 11k gold advantage in terms of CGE right now. The Cat Girl enthusiasts absolutely are on a roll. Yeah, okay, I'm surprised at the lead, but I think I'm really surprised at the Kaisa build. I'm not quite sure what the mentality behind that is. Reeve actually just bought tier 2 boots. Just bought boots in general for the first time.
Yeah, AP Kaisa and like Braum Malphite. With such a beefy team like that, I can't ever see AP Kaisa be in the play here. Or Hybrid Kaisa, I guess.
Hybrid Kaisa, but this late is the issue.
Yeah.
I feel like Kraken just early would have been so good, and at this point, the Malphite is just, you know, rock solid there, using his own ultimate as well, gonna go forward. Silas can try to heal anything that he wants, but I think Malphite can just fully just run him down under tower here. Well, flash forward is gonna be using that Q to slow. E1 gonna be thrown out. W does give him a little bit of oomph there to survive for a little bit longer. W actually coming off of a cooldown immediately. Dilly firing another Super Mega Death Rocket will miss out there. Rave and Vang trying their best to kill this Braum here. They did not want to bite. That was completely a bait, but they did not want to bite. And I think Kenny actually might be dead for this. Vortex Field going out. It will be yet another kill for Penelope. Rave now forced to flash as well.
Penelope again showing why she's an underrated mid laner. I definitely think Penelope doesn't get talked about enough when it comes to consistency. Like it feels like, especially whenever my team scrims against Penelope or whatever, like Penelope is always like at least doing okay, even if her entire team's behind.
Someone's looking for an angle here. Oh! That sentence actually does land on top of Dilly. Silas was able to steal Braum's ult, but it's not going to really do much. 10-0 Victor.
Yeah, it's just over.
I think at this point you just turn to your side. It's just kind of... It's just one of those games. Q-tag on top of the Kaisa. There is no Dragon Kick available, so there is no potential amazing Insect at all. Predator Instinct actually going to go forward here. Rave sees murder in his eyes. They finally are able to kill the Jinx, but at what cost? 2 members die. Sungster might be the third here. Veng is able to connect on top of his ult. Has yet to actually engage on it. Malphite actually just going to solo ult Veng here. At this point, I'm pretty sure CGE just hard ends. 20-second death timers on 3 members. That first tier 3 is the first to go here. Toma just completely brushing off that death sentence. Who trying his best here. Trying to say, focus me, not the tower.
And they will choose to go for the inhibs instead, which is definitely the safer play. I
Chemtech
can't
is
afford
up.
giving down. Yeah, such a big shutdown.
They could easily just rush into tier 3 because now, you know, what's the benefit of just sticking around? Losing your bounties, losing your CS, or sorry, losing your gold. They can easily just stack another Chemtech, and they are pretty much going to put the nail in the coffin. I'd actually laugh if Dilly ends this game with 0 kills. Even the Braum has 4.
Oh, this is where Chemtech comes into play. They can't ever walk into their jungle safely.
Yeah, I mean, the Vex going Ludens is not the issue here. I know Chad is saying
It would
like,
not have changed this game at all, but I definitely think it was the incorrect choice. There's a lot of
there's a lot of
builds from
itemization.
LDO.
Yeah, there's a lot of itemization doings that are kind of wonky here. But I don't know the Flash Ultimate going to go forward there, even for us now. Actually going to be thrown out as well. This could be potentially the last stand that LDO has, and it might be a good one at that. Look at the HP bars of Braum just getting deleted. Vank now going to be kicked away as well. I think he is going to die, unfortunately. Another triple. That is the 3rd triple of this game going over to Victor. Death Sentence is going to be missing out narrowly. Another Flash play, and it will lead to who's final 5th death here. But that will be CGE in their first game of the season, first game of KDL Season 6, and clean win overall. And I don't
CGE is
think...
definitely shown.
Yeah, I don't think either of us are very surprised.
Yeah.
Like, the game in general, it really seemed like... I don't know, it really seemed very dire, so to speak. Especially when... Oh, apologies, for whatever reason. Stream is just kind of bugging. But yeah, it seemed really dire for LDO, especially in that mid game where so much was going wrong very, very fast that it just seemed like it was already over before it even started. Right, and now we will be getting into our interview portion. Again, if you are new to the KDL, we actually do have post-game interviews. We will be starting over... we will be starting with LDO first. Oh my god, my mouse is actually having... Okay, there we go.
Shit.
Whoa!
My bad.
Whoa! Wash your mouth with some soap, young mister.
I apologize.
Whoa! Anyways, we are here now with LDO. LDO, this is your first game. I want to ask you guys, in terms of the draft, were you guys always going to be... I know that you guys typically don't play the Sylas, so was the Sylas a response to the Malphite pick?
Yeah, we saw the Malphite pick, and we don't usually play Sias, but we thought it was something, good to pick against them.
Right. I also want to ask, in terms of the Kaisa build, I know Faithful isn't here to explain his process, but was he commenting in the comms or anything like that he really wanted to go Crown? Did you always know that he was going to go Crown?
He said it when we picked Kaisa that he was just going to go Crown.
Oh, okay, so it's not something in like the middle of the game that he wanted that.
No.
Yeah, a lot of chat were wondering, Kenny, why the Ludens over Landry's or Crown?
I just felt like we needed more damage, so I built Ludens over Crown. That's it. Just wanted to burst.
Fair enough. And I know that like this is just your first outing, so it doesn't really mean much in terms of losing or winning this game. In a BO3 with a lot more preparation later down the line, if you guys are potentially able to play these guys again in playoffs, how do you see that going?
We beat them.
Much better. It'll
Beat them.
go way better because
We beat them.
We beat them.
We just haven't like played a lot together.
We'll
And,
win, KDL.
We still make like really dumb mistakes early. So
Do you think that's
It's
kind of
fine,
like the
though.
detriment right now, just not having that experience enough to
yeah, 100%.
Yeah. I think I'm good for questions then, Exoria.
Oh, how did you guys feel after your draft? Did you feel pretty confident going in, or did it start to like kind of falter after like the first few skirmishes?
No, we felt fine about our draft.
Yeah.
Like I said, it was just like some very early things, like when I guess we got killed by Dragon Pit, where we should have just like hard engaged on them earlier, and it probably would have went a lot better. But you know,
Yeah, I think overall we just played a little too passively in the early game. Like, it was even when we gave up first blood, I'm assuming it was pretty even in goal at that point. But I feel like we just kind of laid down, rolled over a bit, and then let Thomas stab us repeatedly.
Speaking about
So-
laying down and rolling over, I want to ask you,
Oh.
there was a play in the bot lane where, you get caught out there on the left side,
Oh, yeah.
Faithful's on the right, you go towards the bottom river bush, you actually throw a lantern over, trying to get it to Rave, and then you actually flash flay in. Were you guys calling for a re-engage that entire time? Was that something that you just kind of thought, like, yippee, might as well? Like, what was that?
It was just like honestly bad communication on our part. We kind of had like we weren't 100% sure what we were doing. So at that point, it was like just a bit unsure if we were going in or if we were gonna or if I should have flashed out instead of flashing in. So it's just miscommunication on our part. I think that's our main thing. We got to work on kind of being on the same page. And I think because I think we can beat these guys, easily. Just need to get our communication down easily.
What makes you think that you can beat them easily? I'm just kind of curious.
We got an all-star top 1 mid laner, right? We got my AD carry, he's getting there. He's getting there, right? We got my boy Sungst on the top lane, and Rave is a little bit YOLO, but I like my coin flips. So I think we got a great team. We just need to be on the same page.
All right. Well, thank you guys very much for the interview, and good luck on your guys' future games.
Thank you. Thank you.
thank you.
All right, and now we will be moving on and talking with CGE, the victors of today's match, and the first ever game for KDL Season 6.
4 people watching. That's pretty impressive.
It is. All right, now we do have CGE in here. CGE, welcome. Yeah, CGE, welcome. Guys, what do you guys want to say after that game? How are you guys feeling? I know you guys kind of had a rough couple of games in terms of scrims and are able to finally shake it off with the win. Do you guys think you guys were limit testing in those scrims as compared to on stage? Do you think on stage something kind of got ignited within you guys? What happened?
I think at least my mindset going into scrims was I haven't really bot laned with Dilly a lot, so I want to try a lot of different things with Dilly to
Right.
see what we're most comfortable on. So I know that other people were doing that in similar fashion in other lanes. Like maybe we wouldn't pick the things that we would in scrims, but it's good to see where we're at in like terms of like other champion picks instead of like what we're most comfortable on.
Right. Kyle,
But yeah, very happy after this win.
Kyle, I want to ask you, this is your first ever KDL match and you absolutely dominated it. What are your thoughts coming into the match, and were you kind of nervous going into this match, and how do you feel afterwards?
Oh yeah, for sure. Leading up to this, I felt a decent amount of nerves, but once I got into the game, I just felt like I was in my element, and everything kind of worked out. And honestly, afterwards, I feel a lot better. It was just my first time playing on a stage like this, but
Right.
it was great.
Yeah, you are playing in Madison Square Garden after all. We are actually streaming this live from
MSG.
From MSG.
It's right
here.
It's the other room. The Knicks are playing, and
Yeah.
we're in the other room.
We actually have the Imagination Dragons on after this. It's not Imagine
Yeah.
Dragons. We could only afford the cover band Imagination Dragons. So it happens. Toma, I want to ask you, Toma, you had the Lee Sin pickup. It's not typically a pick that we have seen from you. How did you feel about the draft, especially seeing how you got pretty much 3-banned? Do you feel like that was warranted? Do you feel like, those champions kind of make you a threat that warrants those 3 bans, or do you feel like it just kind of wasted it when you have so many other killers on your team?
Well, I don't think I should be the main focus because like I'm not really the carry of the team. I'm like more like the supportive role. But like yeah, if I get Talia or Daily, like I will take that carry role. But I was fine with like going playing Lee Sin and just like supporting my team.
Right. And speaking of support, Dilly, this game seemed very, very rough. No, sorry, I had to do that transition. I've been waiting all game. Dilly, the game seemed really rough in terms of you not getting a kill, but the lane went really, really well. Were you surprised at who overextending, on that initial play where it kind of got you guys 3 kills? Where you guys got him, where he flash flayed you?
Yeah, I got 3 assists there.
Oh, the flash flay. Yeah.
I assumed Rave was a lot closer because he threw the lantern over the wall,
Right.
and I was like, oh, okay, Zin's coming too. And then Zin didn't come,
Right.
and Thresh died. And
Is that kind of why there was a little bit of hesitancy there?
Oh, for sure. You throw the lantern over the wall, and we know Zin's bot side, so we're like, okay, he's probably gonna come with the lantern, but he ended up not coming.
Took
with
an
the
extra
lantern.
second. Took an extra beat.
Pen, I want to ask you, because speaking of Rave actually was posturing a lot towards mid game, especially that early game. Did you feel like that the game would just kind of be won out through mid, and you could just sit back and scale later or collect kills here and there, just because of that playstyle where they really seemed like they wanted to focus and play through Kenny?
Yeah, that's. Oh no, I got Victor and I was just untouched the entire game, so it was pretty easy.
Were you surprised that Victor went through?
No, not really.
Why?
Usually we save my pick till later, so we picked it early this time.
Mm-hmm.
Victor doesn't really have any counters either right now. The champ's busted.
And I want to ask you, Poseidon, because Poseidon, you've played on so many other teams in the past before. What makes you very, eager for playoffs with this team compared to other teams? What makes this team kind of different for you, at least?
I've been on many a team. ABD season 3, ABD season 4, and ABD season 5. A lot of
different teams. There's a lot of different teams.
A lot of different people. I don't know. I like the vibe. I think everyone on the team understands where people are coming from. If we have a disagreement, I think people feel like they can air out their opinion. And
were there any
I
disagreements in that game?
No, I mean that game was great.
Oh, there was a lot.
Oh well, it seems like you have a disagreement right now.
There was a lot. Shut up. If anyone was wondering, that's me hitting Dilly on the MSG stage.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, no, I enjoy playing with Dilly and Penelope. I've played with Penelope for 3 seasons now, and Dilly for 2. Or is this our 4th? Yeah, I guess this is our 4th.
This is the 4th.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Numbers are hard. And yeah, I mean, I've played with Kyle for a while, and I've known Toma for a while, so it's a pretty good mesh of people, and I think we have what it takes to finally get over the hump and get 3rd place at least.
Right. You guys came so close last time, so eager to make it back and potentially turn the odds up. Final question going towards Dilly. Dilly, there was a play where Silas is actually getting engaged on by Malphite. Malphite and Lee, I believe, forced Silas to flash away. You instantly hit Silas with the ult as he flashed. Were you predicting it? Were you telling them to, kind of push the Silas towards that angle? What was that play like?
Yeah, I ulted, and I'm like, I'm ulting here. Like, try to push him that way. And he lived with 1 HP.
And then I got the kill with a Q.
Yeah, it was sad. But yeah, no, I was telling them I'm ulting right here, push him this way. I didn't think he was gonna flash into it. I thought he might E into it or something like that, or make his way that way. But yeah, it worked out.
I know I said just final question, but I just remembered one more play. Kyle, you were talking about a lot of nerves, but then the Silas just was running underneath the tower trying to grab you for the W. What were your thoughts on that play? Did you think you were dead? Did you have control over the entire situation there? What were you thinking?
I would love to say I control over the whole situation, but I was running for my life at first. But then I saw the opportunity rise up, and I took it. Came back in and was able to walk away with the kill there. But going into that, I'm like, oh no, I inted. To be honest.
That's fair.
You know, important question. Where's the MVP vote?
That is true. You know what? I just realized it too. We'll have to think about that later, I guess, because it's too late
Oh
now.
yeah.
It's too late now. We'll have to think about that later. But thank you guys very much for the
Now,
interview.
everyone in chat, spam who you think MVP is.
Yeah,
We'll
true.
just give
Whoever got
everybody
MVP, guys.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I think maybe Dilly got it. I'm not quite sure.
Maybe.
All right. Well, thank you guys very much for the interview, and good luck with your guys' future games.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, and that will wrap up today's first ever KDL game. We will be having our KDL second game tomorrow. That is going to be at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, that's going to be an exciting game. I just want to thank everyone. Again, this is our first game of the season, so if you have not already, please do follow the page. And if you are interested in joining or interested in just talking with us or just reaching out for any schedules or anything like that, please do join our Discord. Our Discord link is in the About Me section. I forgot to mention as well, all the beautiful overlays and everything art-wise that you have seen today was actually made and designed by Willow, aka So Majestic. She did an amazing job, so if you are interested in getting your own designs, please defer to her. Her information can be found as well in the description. But yeah, I think that's pretty much a good wrap up. Amazing game. CGE are going to be your victors in about 25 minutes or so. Thank you so much again to Exori, who was able to fill in a last minute obligation. Exori, how do you feel about those games? Or the game, sorry.
It was pretty fun to watch for the first 10 minutes that it was kind of guaranteed.
Right. Was it objectively fun?
It wasn't the most fun game I've watched, but it was definitely interesting to say the least.
That's fair.
I wasn't expecting some of the lanes to go the way they did, like so heavily, but CG is a pretty strong team right now.
Yeah,
Who's,
I highly agree.
potentially be
CG
a-
are
yeah.
looking like monsters. I think complete day and night difference. But we will leave you with that. Thank you all for watching. And again, remember to follow, join up with the Discord if you want to learn more. But we'll catch you tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace.